I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
Well, you might be familiar with the Bhagavad Gita. And it's an amazing story. We're spending 5 weeks talking about it. I'm going to call it the Gita because oftentimes when I try and say it, I stumble over it, even though I said it 1,000,000 times. But this is an amazing story. It appears like it's a war. It's a battle, right? Between two cousins. One cousin has cheated the other cousin out of his inheritance. And that cousin, the mean cousin, wants to be a dictator, wants to be a ruler, wants to dominate with fear and anger and hate and killing. And the other cousin, Arjuna, wants to rule with love, with peace, with joy, wants to empower people to be the best that they can be. So these two cousins come together in this amazing story. And Arjuna is so talented. He's an incredible archer, right? He is an incredible warrior. He's an amazing, we just sang about him and the hymn that's in you. He's an amazing leader. And he realizes that he's the only one that can save this country, this power. But he's conflicted. Right? Because in order to go into war against his cousin, he has to stand up and fight his family. He has to fight his friends. He has to fight his teachers. He has to fight his students. He has to kill people that he loves. And then comes Krishna. Krishna represents the divine, that divine essence that's within all of us, who encourages him to be the best that he can be, to say to him, yeah, what you're up against is tough, but it is your duty. It is your responsibility because you are the only one to do this. And the beauty of this story, and I've heard people say, well, but it's just about war. Yeah, it's about a battle, but it's not really about the battle out here. It's about the battle in here. Are you willing to stand up for the things that you're responsible for? For one of you, thank God. Yes. Even though we, like Arjuna, get invited into this battle, into these challenging situations in life that we get to face, so we can stand up for what is our truth, for what we bring to our community, to this island, to the world, to be the power of truth and wisdom and light on the planet. And I know that is who you are. I know that's why we're here. That's why we have these unique teachings that we have. Because it's not about following some God outside of ourselves. It's about following that divine Krishna, that Christ essence that's within us. And that's what this story mirrors and reflects to us. So we'll return to the battlefield. And you might remember that a scene is happening like none other. Arjuna, realizing what he has to do, is distraught. He's sad. He's upset. He's afraid of what he has to do. And he says to Krishna, his voice quivering, my heart is torn. How can I raise my weapon against my own flesh and blood? My mind reels at the thought of this carnage. Is there righteousness and a victory stained with blood of those I hold dear? Krishna says with a serene sense of knowing, Arjuna, your turmoil echoes the eternal struggle of duty against personal ties. But consider this. Your duty as a warrior is not just a role you play. It's a part of the cosmic order, the dharma that upholds the universe. You must act not for the desire of victory, but as an instrument of righteousness. Arjuna says, but the cost, Krishna, the cost is unbearable. The very thought of it clouds my soul with sorrow. Krishna says, remember, Arjuna, the wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. Life and death are but transient states. The soul, eternal and unchanging, neither kills nor can be killed. Your sorrow stems from the attachment, an attachment that clouds your soul's true nature. In the vast ocean of wisdom, the Gita and Krishna has this divine wisdom to impart to us that says the wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. So let's kind of unpack this a little bit and look at what is he saying here. So picture this. You're standing in a great forest, witnessing the endless cycle of nature. Leaves bud, bloom, and then fall away. The cycle has no room for grief because each phase is a natural, essential part of the whole. Krishna is guiding us to see that life and death are the same. When Krishna speaks these words, he's not just offering peace and trying to console Arjuna. He's revealing a more profound truth about existence. The wise understand that the soul is eternal. It doesn't flicker out with death or ignite with birth. It's like the sun, rising and setting. The sun isn't born each morning or dying each evening. It's simply continuing its eternal journey. Krishna tells us that grief stems from our attachment to life's physical, transient aspects. But the wise see beyond this. They understand that the core of our being, that we're just not flesh and bones, subject to the whims of time. We are eternal spirits in this endless journey. This perspective isn't about being indifferent or uncaring. Instead, it's about embracing a higher understanding of life and death. Like watching a play. We immerse ourselves in the story, but deep down, we know it's a play. The characters may come and go, but the stage remains. So, when Krishna says the wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead, he's inviting us to view life with a sense of serenity and understanding. He's saying that sometimes life is difficult. Sometimes we have to do things that hurt. He's saying that life is change and that there are painful things that happen in the short term, but they're beneficial in the long term. So allowing grief and shock to paralyze us negates our responsibility to live our truth, to live our passion, to live our cause. Arjuna continues with a furrowed brow. And what if the fruits of this ghastly war, if victory tastes of ash, what purpose does it serve? Krishna says, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your action. But let not the fruits of action be your motive. Act with detachment and therein lies the path to peace. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you're not entitled to the fruit of your actions. What does that mean? It's different than you might first think. Imagine that you're a musician. We've got a few in this room. You play the most beautiful melody that you can. You put your heart and your soul into every note. And your right duty is what? Your right duty is to play your music to the best you can. But whether the audience cheers or stands up and walks out, that's not for you to worry about. That's not for you to consider. And that's the fruit of your action that Krishna is talking about. Krishna is getting here the essence of selflessness. It's like cooking a meal for the love of your family or for your friends or for your significant other one, and not being attached to whether they thank you for it. It's just doing the duty, being present, offering your gifts, and then letting go. This is the essence of karma yoga. It's serving without an eye on what you might get in return. Being selfless, sharing your love, and not doing it for the anticipation of a thank you, or that was great, or that was terrible, right? Just to do it, to offer your gift into your relationships, into the world, without attachment to it. This teaching is a call to shift our perspective from a results-driven mindset to a purpose-driven mindset. It's about discovering the joy and fulfillment in the act, in the same way a gardener who loves tending his plants does so regardless of whether or not the plant blooms or not, just for the selfless act of sharing his love. Krishna's counsel reminds us to focus on performing our duties to the best of our abilities, guided by integrity, guided by ethical principles, rather than being overly concerned with the results or the rewards that we might receive from it. It's really about doing our best and leaving the rest. So breathe that. Can you feel the freedom in that? When we just be present and share the love and the truth and all that we are, irrespective of what we might get in return. Arjuna, in deep contemplation, goes on to say, to act without the lure of victory, without the fear of defeat? And Krishna says, yes, Arjuna. In this detachment lies true freedom. In fulfilling your destiny selflessly, you rise above the duality of pleasure and pain, victory and defeat. You become a vessel of divine will, playing your part in the divine design. Krishna suggests aligning our actions with our values, with our principles, rather than doing so for external rewards. Our affirmation today is, I am at peace, knowing my actions are aligned with my true purpose. This part of the Bhagavad Gita is really about karma yoga. And karma yoga is one of the central teachings from the Gita and the Hindu tradition. Karma Yoga focuses on the discipline of selfless action. The core principle of Karma Yoga is performing one's duty, one's dharma, without attachment to the results or attachment to personal gain. Practicing Karma Yoga encourages a life of righteousness, a life of compassion, a life of selfless service, and as a means of spiritual growth and spiritual fulfillment. And don't you know, at the essence of your being, that that's what this is about? That's why we practice these principles, to be that light of love in the world. To just by our nature of being present, we can change the perspective, change and bring love into the world. So, what I'm going to offer today is a mindful action, really a key to a meaningful life. I'm going to present you with some ideas incorporating what we've just talked about into ways that we can practice Karma Yoga. And I've got it as 6 steps in the form of an acronym for the word action. And this is really about, as we say in Hawaii, doing your kuleana, right? Doing what you are here to do. Really tuning in and paying attention to how can you offer selfless action into the world? How can you be in that place and be so present that your presence is a gift? So the A in this acronym of action is to align our intentions. It says, so what is your kuleana? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Why are you on this planet? I like to think that all of us has a purpose for being here. And I think it's probably more than just eating, right? And having a nice house and, it's more than just surviving and being. We are here because each of us has a gift within us, and we're here to share that gift. So, taking that into consideration, what is your responsibility? Kuleana means responsibility. We all have responsibility, I believe, to shift the consciousness in this congregation, on Maui, in the world. You have a responsibility. What is your responsibility? And I hope that you'll reflect on that this week, to really look at what is yours to do? Why are you here? And the second part of that is the C in action is to cultivate mindfulness. And so much about what we talk about is being mindful, right? Being present and doing whatever you are doing fully in that moment. And to fully dedicate yourself to it. That's your responsibility, to be totally present. Don't you know when you are totally present that you do your best, right? That you come from your heart. You're able to access the highest parts of your wisdom and your intelligence. So what is it, or I guess let's go this way. To be mindful to me means enjoying every moment, being every moment, and maybe to think of it like when you're eating, you can practice being mindful, right? And instead of, acting like your neighbor's dog, right? And swallowing your food so quickly that you don't even taste it, right? That you take a bite and you just really savor it. Taste it. Feel it. Be with it. Notice the sensation. And the same, when you are present doing anything, notice what you're feeling. Notice what you're feeling right now. Be mindful. You might be saying, boy, this guy, the Rev's giving me a bunch of bullshit today. I hope you don't think that. but just to be present and go, wow, what am I feeling? I'm feeling the energy of this room, the love that's in this room and in this community. I'm feeling the chair. I'm feeling my heart. I'm really being present, and I'm nurturing. I'm tasting every moment. And that leads to, what is it that needs to be done by you? How can you celebrate and be mindful to that in every moment? And to ask, what do I bring to this? What do I bring to this relationship? What do I bring to this situation? What do I bring to this gathering of us this morning? And then when you go to Whole Foods for lunch or whatever you do, to say, what do I bring to this? How can I be fully present to everyone, to really look at people, to be present to them, to send them love? Isn't that who we are? Aren't we emissaries of love on this planet? And the next piece is to trust the process. This is really about trusting that your good actions, your truthful actions, your good intentions, your mindfulness are perfect. And just to come into life from that place, knowing that everything is perfect. You don't have to plant a seed in your garden and turn it over every couple days to see how it's growing, right? Or try and reach in and pull it up and make it grow a little faster. But just be present and know that the process is happening at the right time, in the right way, in the perfect order. And the I in action is for insightful reflection. This is about looking back, reviewing your day, reviewing how you showed up and saying, how was I present? Was I present for those around me, or was I so focused on my own thinking that I couldn't be there for anyone? And looking back is because, on this spiritual path, so much of it is about reflecting on, how's it working for you? Right? If it's not working, then you do what? You try something else. But how is it working? How is it feeling? How are you feeling about yourself? Are you seeing that you're present to your life? And then the next step of the O in action is offer gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual laws, principles in the universe, because gratitude has the ability to return to us with such mighty speed, right? Because as soon as we are grateful for being wherever we are, for doing whatever we are doing, we send out an energy into the universe, and the universe responds to that. And again, we don't do that because we want that response, but we do that because it's our kuleana. It's who we are. It's our responsibility to be grateful. And grateful turns what we have into enough. When we are grateful, we're not focusing on, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that car, I wish I had this electronics, or I wish I had this person, or I wish I had a person in my life in a relationship. And we're just being grateful, just kind of, let's just breathe into that and appreciate what is here right now and not be constantly wanting and desiring more. And the in action is to nurture patience. Yeah, have you noticed that spiritual growth doesn't happen overnight? Right? We might have a realization and we think, wow, I want to be like that. I want to be totally peaceful. I want to be totally calm. I want to be totally joyful. I want to be present in every moment. I want to be mindful, right? And Sometimes it can happen pretty quickly, but oftentimes it takes a little work, right? Because oftentimes the path of spiritual evolvement or enlightenment is about changing your perspective and seeing things different, showing up different. And because we're spiritual beings in these human bodies, sometimes it takes a little while to get that spiritual part of us here, to come through our bodies so that we embrace that spiritual truth entirely. So we want to have patience with ourselves. We can notice the things that can change, but we want to breathe and be okay with ourselves, with our path, where we are. So let's take a moment to circle back to Arjuna, standing on the cusp of battle in the Gita. Initially, he's troubled. His heart is torn between duty and compassion. But through Krishna's counsel, a transformation happens within him. Arjuna finds clarity. He finds strength. And not from a newfound desire for victory, but from an understanding in his role in the grand scheme of things, the path of karma yoga. Imagine, and I think what is so great about this story is that this story, even though it appears as a battle out here, the battle is really within us. And Arjuna represents an aspect of us that sometimes it has these dilemmas. Ever have dilemmas like these? Right? So he is a model or a mirror for us of who we are and who we can be. He's reflecting our struggles. And just like him, we can sometimes stand at a crossroads and be challenged by the choices that we have and the very foundation of our beliefs. But the teachings of karma yoga offer a beacon of light for us. They teach us that our actions, when untethered from the anchors of personal gain, guided by righteousness, can lead us to a place of peace and purpose. Arjuna stands at the crossroads of battle, understanding as the sun rises. Krishna's words, like a beacon, guide him through the fog of doubt. This warrior's heart stirs with a newfound clarity that comes from understanding the impermanence of life and the permanence of duty. The battle looms. But Arjuna, armed with the wisdom of Krishna, is now ready to embrace his destiny, not as a burden, but as a path of transcendence. This action format that we're talking about today isn't just a set of steps. It's a way of living and being. And by integrating these steps into our daily lives, we embark on this path of karma yoga, acting selflessly, living mindfully, and finding joy and peace in the journey, not just in the destination. So I invite you, let's take this action together, transforming our lives one step at a time, transforming our island, our planet, one purpose, one truth, one heart at a time. And so it is. I am at peace, knowing my actions are aligned with my true purpose. Say that with me. I am at peace, knowing my actions are aligned with my true purpose. I invite you to close your eyes, to bring your attention to your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And to settle into this moment. To allow the words and the truth of Krishna, to allow the words of the Christ, of the Buddha nature, to be alive in the essence of all you are. To bring your attention to your heart. And to breathe into the area around your heart. Imagining that the love that you are is expanding. Touching all the places in your body, in your mind. Breathing in and breathing out. Saying yes to this inward knowing, this wisdom, this light that is the essence of who you are. Say yes. Yes. To say yes to your gifts. To say yes to the truth of who you are. Breathing in and breathing out. I invite you to inwardly say yes. And then let us join together in our hearts for a few moments of reflection in the silence. And gently return your awareness to your breath. Breathing yourself into this moment. Bringing your awareness back. Holding on to the love, to the light, to the truth of who you are. And I invite you to open your eyes when you're ready. All right, well, I invite you at this time to prepare your love offerings for Unity on Maui, and I invite you as you hold them to think about what we talked about today, to think about how can you practice karma yoga? How can you be present in the moment, being the truth that you are, and letting go of the outcome, and just showing up and being loving, being peaceful, being joyful in everything you do. Can you feel the freedom in that? Right? Isn't that what we all strive for? So thank you for sharing your love with us today. Because we are an organization that has expenses, your gifts help us to continue this amazing work that we do. And I thank you ahead of time for what you give. What you give is a way of participating with us in developing our consciousness and creating a world that works for everyone. And if you've been around a while and practiced these principles, you know that life becomes a little bit easier when we change our perspective, when we embrace our life with love, when we live our purpose, when we take responsibility, when we act as if this living, this being, is about our kuleana, being present to this life and to how we impact this world. So thank you in advance for your gifts. And as we hold them, let's pray and affirm our affirmation of prosperity. And let's say it together. Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. God bless you. Namaste. Loving Spirit, we give thanks for these gifts that have come to us in love. We hold them, we bless them, and we give thanks for them, knowing that they are moving through this ministry, through our music, through our words, through the very beingness and the way that Spirit is expressing as us. And we know that our light, our love is positively affecting this island, this state, the United States, and the world. And as such, we behold a world that's filled with light, with love, with joy, and with peace. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. All right, I've got just a couple announcements today. You always have the opportunity on a Sunday morning to bring flowers and have them be displayed up on our platform here. And there's a sign-up sheet at the back table. And if you pick a date and sign up and tell us who you are and how you'd like your flowers to be appreciated, we'll announce them on Sunday morning. And the best part of it is that they glorify us and our service, and then you can take them home afterwards. So thank you for signing up in advance. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, there we go. Oh, next week, my talk is titled The Path of the Heart and the Power of Devotion. And so we're going to continue with our journey of Arjuna and this amazing story. And we're going to look at how is it that Arjuna taps into his heart and is able to bring that essence forward through the power of devotion for the spiritual energy that he's able to partake in. And we'll look at practical ways that we can develop the path of the heart and experience and express that in everything we do. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Right here at 10 o'clock. And if you enjoyed my talk today, there is what I call a walk your talk on the back table. It's on a yellow piece of paper, and it summarizes everything that I talked about today. So you can take that home and refresh your mind. And the 6 steps in action are there also, and I hope that you will take that and follow those steps to develop your own karma yoga. And so I think that just about wraps it up. Anything else, gang? Let's give another hand to our band here. So why don't we stand and we'll say the prayer for protection together, and then we'll circle up and join hands and sing the peace song. So for ourselves, for the world, and for all life, let's pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Where I live, they're all raised